Welcome to the very first episode of the Digital Economy series. In this podcast, we're setting out to map the new economic frontier, a multi-trillion-dollar landscape that is fundamentally reshaping how we work, create, and transact value. We want to move beyond the headlines and dive deep into the architecture of this modern economy, from the massive structural shifts down to the actionable strategies for individuals and businesses looking to thrive within it.
And to begin that journey, we have to start with a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with. It's easy to hear terms like digital economy and think of it as a niche, a sector for tech companies and influencers. But the reality is that it has become the bedrock of global commerce. So today, we're zooming out to look at the big picture. We'll explore the colossal growth and structure of this online world. We'll examine the profound shift in the labor market towards freelancing and the gig economy. And finally, we'll unpack the core human motivations driving millions of people to build their livelihoods online.
Exactly. This isn't just an evolution, it's a quiet revolution. To understand the practical models we'll be covering in later episodes, like the creator economy, e-commerce, or SaaS businesses, we first need to understand the environment they exist in, the foundational forces at play. So let's start with that first pillar, the immense scale and growth of the digital economy. The numbers are almost hard to comprehend.
They truly are. When we talk about digital transformation, we're talking about a global spending wave that was estimated at around $911 billion in 2024. That figure is projected to skyrocket to $3.3 trillion by 2030. That's not just incremental growth, it's an exponential expansion. But the number itself is less important than what it represents. This spending is building what we call digital ecosystems.
And that term ecosystem is crucial. It's not just a collection of websites and apps. It's an interconnected network of platforms, services, and users that create value in ways that simply weren't possible before. A traditional, non-digital business operates more like an isolated island. It has its suppliers, its customers, its direct competitors. It's a closed loop, for the most part.
That's a perfect way to put it. A digital ecosystem, on the other hand, is more like a vibrant, sprawling coral reef. You have countless different organisms, or in this case, apps, platforms, creators, and consumers, all coexisting and interacting. The health of one part contributes to the health of the whole. Think about the Apple App Store. It isn't just a marketplace, it's an ecosystem. Apple provides the infrastructure, the platform, the payment processing, the developer tools. In return, developers from anywhere in the world, from a massive corporation to a single person in their bedroom, can build an application and gain immediate access to a global audience of millions.
This creates entirely new revenue streams that couldn't exist in isolation. The developer of a niche productivity app doesn't have to worry about building a secure payment system or marketing their product in 150 different countries. They can plug into the existing ecosystem and focus on what they do best, building a great app. The ecosystem handles the rest, taking a percentage in return. This symbiotic relationship allows for immense specialization and scale.
And it creates a powerful network effect. The more users a platform has, the more attractive it is to developers. The more developers and apps there are, the more attractive the platform becomes to new users. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of growth. This model is replicated everywhere online. YouTube connects creators with viewers and advertisers. Amazon connects sellers with buyers and logistics services. Uber connects drivers with riders and payment systems. These are not just companies, they are economic ecosystems.
Which brings us from the macro-level view of these massive platforms to the micro-level experience of the individual. This ecosystem structure has fundamentally changed the nature of work itself. It has enabled and accelerated the rise of the freelancer, the gig worker, the independent professional. The barrier to participating in the global economy has been lowered dramatically.
Dramatically is the right word. The data here is just staggering. Right now, about 28% of skilled knowledge workers identify as freelancers. And we're not talking about small side jobs here. Collectively, they earn an estimated $1.5 trillion annually as of 2024. The concept of a side hustle has also gone completely mainstream. A recent survey found that an incredible 51% of Americans reported doing some form of side work in the past year.
So we're seeing a structural unbundling of the traditional job. In the 20th century model, you had one employer who provided your salary, your tools, your projects, your health insurance, everything in one package. Now, individuals are increasingly assembling their own careers from various sources, projects, and clients. They are becoming businesses of one.
I like to think of it as a shift from a career ladder to a career portfolio. The ladder was a linear, predetermined path within a single organization. The portfolio is a diverse collection of assets, skills, projects, clients, income streams that you actively manage and grow over time. This portfolio might include a part-time remote job, a few freelance consulting gigs, an e-commerce store, and maybe some earnings from a monetized hobby.
And this isn't a phenomenon confined to developed nations. The World Bank has noted that the gig economy now accounts for as much as 12% of the global labor force. In many parts of the world, platform-based work is leapfrogging traditional employment structures entirely, providing economic opportunities where they were previously scarce. This can range from high-skill work like coding and graphic design on platforms like Upwork to more localized services like ride-sharing or online tutoring.
This all begs the central question, of course. Why is this happening now? What are the fundamental drivers behind this seismic shift away from traditional employment and towards this new digital independent model? It's more than just the technology being available.
Precisely. The technology is the enabler, but not the core motivation. The why seems to come down to a few key human desires. The first and most powerful is autonomy, the desire for control over one's own work and schedule. The traditional 9-to-5 structure is a relic of an industrial era that demanded synchronized labor. In a knowledge-based economy, that synchronization is often arbitrary and inefficient.
Absolutely. The second is flexibility, the ability to work from anywhere, to set your own hours, to integrate work with life in a more fluid way. This became particularly acute during the pandemic, which served as a massive, unplanned experiment in remote work for millions of people. Having tasted that flexibility, many are reluctant to give it up. The pandemic didn't create this trend, but it poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning.
And the third, which we touched on earlier, is the remarkably low barrier to entry. In the past, starting a business meant significant capital investment, renting an office, buying equipment, hiring staff. Today, anyone with a skill, an idea, and an internet connection can start generating income online. Whether you're a writer, a designer, a consultant, a crafter, or an expert in a niche hobby, there is a platform or an ecosystem that allows you to connect with a potential market.
This spectrum of opportunity is what makes the digital economy so transformative. As we'll explore throughout this series, these opportunities range from hobbyist side gigs that bring in a little extra income to full-time, multi-million-dollar digital businesses. It's not a single monolithic thing. It's a vast landscape of possibilities, and the key is finding where your skills and interests intersect with a need in the market.
So, to bring it all together, we have this massive trillion-dollar digital infrastructure built on interconnected ecosystems. This infrastructure has, in turn, enabled a fundamental shift in the labor market, allowing individuals to build their own career portfolios outside of traditional jobs.
And this shift is being driven by a deep-seated desire for more autonomy and flexibility in our lives, accelerated by global events and enabled by technology that has dramatically lowered the barrier to entrepreneurship. That, in essence, is the foundation of the modern digital economy. It's not just technology, it's a new social and economic contract being written in real time.
A perfect summary, and it sets the stage perfectly for where we're going next. Now that we've mapped the overall landscape, our next several episodes will be dedicated to deep dives into the most powerful and accessible business models within it. We'll be starting with what is perhaps the most visible and dynamic part of this world, the creator economy.
That's right. We'll be exploring how individuals are building massive audiences and successful businesses by creating original content. We'll look at the classic models of monetizing blogs and YouTube channels, the rise of subscription platforms like Substack and Patreon that allow creators to earn a recurring income directly from their fans, and how creators are now leveraging AI tools to scale their content production in ways we've never seen before. It's the front line of this new economy, and it's a fascinating place to start.
Welcome to the Digital Economy series, where we chart the currents of the online world. In our last episode, we looked at the macro-level shifts, the sheer scale of the digital ecosystem, and the rise of the freelancer. We talked about how millions are now earning income online through gig work. But that raised a deeper question. What happens when you move beyond simply completing tasks for others? What does it look like to build your own audience, your own brand, and your own platform from the ground up?
That's the perfect entry point into today's topic, the creator economy. This isn't just a buzzword, it's a fundamental restructuring of how economic value is built and exchanged online. It's the next logical step from freelancing. Instead of selling your time, you're building an asset, what we might call personal brand equity. Today, we're going to dissect this powerful ecosystem by looking at 4 key pillars. First, the foundation of it all, content creation. Second, the move to stable revenue through subscriptions and memberships. Third, the entrepreneurial leap into selling your own products. And finally, the transformative force that is rewriting all the rules, AI for creators.
These are crucial concepts because they represent the transition from being a participant in the digital economy to becoming an architect of your own small corner of it. Understanding this progression is key to grasping where the most significant opportunities lie for individuals today. So let's start at the beginning. Content creation. We hear it everywhere: blogs, podcasts, YouTube, TikTok. But what does it mean in economic terms?
In economic terms, it's about manufacturing attention. You are creating original content not just to entertain or inform, but to build a loyal audience that trusts you. That trust is the currency. The sheer scale is staggering. There are over 200 million people worldwide who identify as content creators, powering a market valued at around $250 billion. This is the classic model: build a following and then monetize that attention.
And that monetization is where the theory meets a harsh reality for many. The common paths are advertising revenue, like Google AdSense on a blog or YouTube channel, brand sponsorships, affiliate links where you earn a commission for referrals, or selling branded merchandise. But the numbers suggest this is an incredibly top-heavy market. One study indicates that only about 4% of creators manage to earn a 6-figure income. That's a brutal success rate. It implies that for every major success story, there are millions earning very little.
It is brutal, and it highlights a critical point. Consistency and diversification are non-negotiable. You can't just post when you feel like it. The algorithm and the audience demand a steady stream of content. But a better way to visualize it is to think of a creator as a modern-day artisan opening a stall in a vast global digital marketplace. Your content, your videos, your articles, your podcasts is the beautiful, handcrafted work you put on display for free. It's what draws the crowd.
So the content itself is a marketing expense, in a way. The product is the attention of the audience you gather.
Precisely. And in the beginning, your revenue comes from the market operator, the platform, paying you a tiny fraction for the crowds you draw. That's your ad revenue. Or a passing merchant pays you to mention their wares. That's a sponsorship. It's a viable start, but it's volatile. Your income is subject to algorithm changes, advertiser sentiment, and the constant pressure to produce more. This leads creators to seek more stable, direct relationships with their audience.
Which brings us directly to our second pillar, subscriptions and memberships. This feels like a significant evolution from the ad-based model. It's about converting casual viewers into paying supporters.
Exactly. It's the artisan realizing they have a core group of patrons who truly value their work. So they open a private workshop behind the stall. For a small monthly fee, these patrons get access to exclusive items, behind-the-scenes looks, or even a chance to learn the craft directly from the artisan. This is exactly what platforms like Patreon and Substack have enabled at scale.
The numbers certainly back this up. Patreon creators were earning over $2 billion annually on the platform in a recent update, and Substack is now reporting over 5 million paid subscriptions. From an economic standpoint, this is a game changer. It shifts the creator's business model from unpredictable, transaction-based revenue to a more stable, recurring revenue model. 1,000 true fans paying you a few dollars a month can provide a stable income, insulating you from the whims of advertisers.
And it fundamentally changes the relationship with the audience. It's no longer about chasing viral hits for maximum eyeballs. It's about delivering consistent, high-value content to a smaller, dedicated community that is financially invested in your success. A tech blogger might offer a paid newsletter with in-depth tutorials that are too niche for a general audience. A YouTuber could run a Patreon that offers exclusive Q&A sessions or early access to videos. This model allows for depth over breadth.
The trade-off, of course, is that you are now directly accountable to a paying customer base. The expectation for quality and consistency is significantly higher. You can't just miss an upload when people are paying you a monthly fee for it. This naturally pushes the most successful creators towards the next stage of entrepreneurship.
It absolutely does. Once you've built an audience and established trust, perhaps even secured a base of paying members, the next logical step is to create your own products. This is our third pillar. It's about leveraging your expertise and brand equity to move beyond content and commerce.
This can take two primary forms: digital or physical products. Digital products are incredibly appealing due to their high margins and scalability. Things like ebooks, online courses, or digital art have near zero marginal cost. You create it once, and you can sell it infinitely. The scale of this is immense. Look at the online education market. The business-to-business segment of just one platform, Udemy, had annual recurring revenue of over $516 million in its 2024 fiscal report. That's a massive market for monetizing knowledge.
It is. Think of our artisan again. They've built a following with their free work and have a private club for their biggest fans. Now they decide to package their knowledge. They write a definitive book on their craft or create a masterclass video series teaching their unique techniques. This is the creator as an educator. A fitness influencer creates a paid workout program. A software developer builds and sells a comprehensive coding course. They are leveraging the authority they built through their free content to sell a premium, structured product.
And then there are physical products. This could be branded merchandise, like t-shirts and mugs, which also serves a marketing function, or it could be products directly related to the creator's niche. A popular chef on YouTube might launch their own line of cooking utensils, for example. The key here is that the creator is no longer just a media outlet. They are a direct-to-consumer brand.
And the most successful creators often have a very specific niche focus. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They are the go-to expert on a specific topic, whether it's Python programming, vegan Italian cooking, or historical costume analysis. That sharp focus builds the trust necessary to convince someone not just to consume their free content, but to buy a product from them. It's the final stage of turning passion into a multifaceted business.
This entire ecosystem, from content to community to commerce, is now being supercharged by a new force. And this brings us to our final point, the role of AI. This is no longer a futuristic concept. It's a present-day reality. A recent study found that over 91% of creators are already using generative AI in their workflow. That is a staggering adoption rate.
It is, and it's because AI acts as a powerful leverage tool. For the individual creator, it can be like having a team of assistants. AI can help brainstorm ideas, draft scripts, generate background visuals or music, and even create social media posts from a longer piece of content. Think of it as a creative multiplier. It helps the creator produce more content, experiment with new formats, and overcome creative blocks. For many, it dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for producing high-quality content.
But this introduces a fascinating economic dilemma. If AI makes it easier for everyone to produce content, the sheer volume of content is going to explode. Does this create a content shock, an environment so saturated that it's impossible for anyone to stand out? Does it devalue human creativity? Or does it simply raise the baseline, forcing creators to be even more unique and authentic to build a true connection with an audience?
I believe it's the latter. AI can handle the more generic, labor-intensive parts of creation, but it can't, as of yet, replicate genuine personality, lived experience, and a unique point of view. In a world flooded with AI-generated content, the value of human authenticity and a strong personal brand actually increases. The creators who succeed will be those who use AI not as a replacement for their creativity, but as a tool to amplify it, freeing them up to focus on the things that truly resonate with their audience, their story, their expertise, and their unique voice.
So, to summarize the journey we've mapped out today, the creator economy is a pathway. It begins with building personal brand equity through consistent content creation. From there, creators can build more stable revenue streams by converting their audience into paying subscribers. The next step is to leverage that trust and authority to sell their own digital or physical products, becoming true entrepreneurs. And woven through all of it is the accelerating force of AI, which is both a tool for immense productivity and a challenge that raises the bar for creativity and authenticity.
That's a perfect summary. The creator economy is not a single business model, but a flexible toolkit. The most successful individuals are becoming masters of their own small media companies, strategically blending advertising, subscriptions, and e-commerce to build resilient, diversified businesses. They are the new entrepreneurs of the digital age.
And this focus on individual entrepreneurship is a perfect bridge to our next episode. While the creator economy is often about building a public-facing brand, there is a parallel, massive part of the digital economy centered on providing specialized skills directly to clients. We'll be diving deep into the world of online services and freelancing, exploring everything from consulting and coaching to building your own small agency.
It's the other side of the same coin, moving from building an audience to building a client roster. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome to the Digital Economy series. In our last conversation, we delved deep into the world of the creator, exploring how individuals can build vast audiences and monetize them through content, subscriptions, and products. It was a narrative centered on becoming the focal point, the brand. But what if that's not your path? What if, instead of building an audience from scratch, you want to directly leverage a specific, hard-won skill?
Exactly. The digital economy isn't just a stage for performers. It's also a massive, interconnected workshop for artisans, specialists, and advisors. Today, we're shifting focus from the platform builders to the service providers. We'll be exploring the immense landscape of online services and freelancing. This is the other side of the coin, a world where you can monetize your expertise directly without necessarily needing a million followers. We'll break down the core models, freelance work on global platforms, the higher leverage worlds of consulting and coaching, the critical support roles that power the creator economy, and finally, how to scale from a solo act into a full-fledged digital agency.
These concepts are the bedrock of the modern remote workforce. While the creator economy is about attraction and influence, the service economy is about direct value-for-value transactions. Understanding these models is crucial because they represent one of the most accessible entry points into the online economic landscape, turning skills you already possess into tangible income streams.
Let's start with the most foundational model, freelance work. At its core, this is simply offering your skills on a project-by-project basis. But the internet has transformed this from a local hustle into a global career path. We're talking about writers, graphic designers, programmers, marketers, translators. Any skill that can be delivered digitally is now on the table.
The scale of this transformation is staggering. We're not discussing a niche market anymore. By 2024, freelancers were already generating an estimated $1.5 trillion in earnings. And this isn't a trend that's slowing down. A recent survey of CEOs revealed that 48% plan to increase their use of freelancers. This signifies a fundamental structural shift in how businesses think about talent. The old model of a monolithic in-house workforce is being replaced by a more agile, distributed network of specialists.
I think a great way to visualize this is to think of platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or Freelancer.com as modern-day guilds or global town squares. In the past, if you were a skilled artisan, say a master carpenter, your reputation was limited to your town. People came to the town square to find you. Today, that town square is digital and global. A small business in Ohio can hire a world-class web developer from Portugal for a specific project. A startup in Singapore can find a voiceover artist from South Africa. These platforms are the infrastructure that makes it possible. They handle the discovery, the contracts, the payments, and the reputation system through reviews, essentially providing the trust layer for these global transactions to occur seamlessly.
And this removes immense geographical barriers. A translator in a developing nation can now access clients and rates from major metropolitan hubs, completely changing their economic reality. It's a powerful democratizing force, though it also introduces global competition. The key is that your value is tied directly to the quality of your work and your ability to manage client relationships, not your physical location.
Precisely. Now, let's say you've been a freelancer for a decade. You're not just executing tasks anymore. You've developed a deep well of strategic knowledge. This is where the next evolution often occurs, moving from doing to advising. This is the realm of consulting and coaching.
This is a critical distinction. A freelance writer writes blog posts for a company. A content marketing consultant advises the company on their entire content strategy for the next year. The freelancer is paid for their time and output. The consultant is paid for their wisdom and strategic insight, which can have a much higher leverage on the business's success. It's a shift from selling hours to selling outcomes.
And it's often packaged very differently. You might sell hourly consulting sessions over Zoom, where a startup founder pays for an hour of your time to solve a specific problem. Or you could create a structured multi-week coaching program. For example, a career advisor might create a 3-month program that guides clients through a complete career transition, complete with weekly calls, assignments, and resource libraries. It's about productizing your expertise. You see this everywhere, from financial coaches helping people manage their debt to digital marketing consultants helping businesses optimize their online presence.
The barrier to entry here is expertise, but the tools are incredibly accessible. A personal website, a strong LinkedIn profile, and a video conferencing tool like Zoom are often all that's needed to launch a consulting business. Online tutoring is a perfect, straightforward example of this model in action. Platforms like TutorMe connect students with experts in math, science, or language, facilitating that direct knowledge transfer for an hourly fee.
It's the purest form of selling knowledge. But let's circle back to the creator economy we discussed in our last episode. A creator, a YouTuber with millions of subscribers, for example, is running a full-fledged media business. They can't do it all alone. This has given rise to an entire ecosystem of support roles, what we might call second-party roles. This is a massive and often overlooked part of the online service economy.
An excellent point. This is the picks and shovels play during a gold rush. While everyone is focused on the creators striking gold by building huge audiences, there's a thriving economy in selling the tools, services, and support that make it all possible. You don't have to be the star of the show to be indispensable to the production.
Think of a successful creator as a director and producer. They need a crew. That's where virtual assistants and other second-party specialists come in. A small e-commerce brand might hire a remote social media manager to run your Instagram and Facebook accounts. A podcaster hires an audio editor to clean up their recordings and add music. A YouTuber on a tight schedule will often outsource video editing, thumbnail design, and even content repurposing, turning a long-form video into a series of short clips for TikTok and Instagram Reels.
These roles are incredibly specialized. You have community moderators who manage Discord or Facebook groups, keeping the conversation healthy and engaging. You have specialists who do nothing but write show notes for podcasts. The beauty of this model is that it allows individuals to focus on a specific, marketable skill without needing the charisma or desire to be the public face of a brand. They are the essential cogs in the machine.
And it creates a symbiotic relationship. The creator gets to scale their operations and focus on what they do best, creating content and connecting with their audience. The second-party specialist gets a steady stream of work in a dynamic industry. It's a perfect example of specialization in the digital age. You can build an entire career by being the best video editor for a handful of top-tier creators.
So, we've gone from the solo freelancer executing tasks, to the high-level consultant selling wisdom, to the specialized supporter helping others grow. What's the final step in this evolution? What happens when a solo service provider, be it a freelancer or a consultant, becomes so successful that their demand outstrips their personal capacity?
That's the inflection point where a solo practice often transforms into a small agency. It's the natural scaling path. It usually starts organically. A freelance web developer is getting more client requests than they can handle. For one project, they hire another developer they trust as a subcontractor to build a specific feature. Then they do it again. Over time, they realize they are spending more time managing projects and clients than coding.
They transition from being a practitioner to being a manager and a business owner. They've effectively created a system. Instead of selling their own hours, they are now selling the output of a team they've assembled and manage.
Exactly. The core principles are the same as freelancing. You still need to master project management and client acquisition, but now you have the added layers of team management, quality control, and payroll. A solo marketing freelancer might evolve into a full-service marketing agency by bringing on a graphic designer, a copywriter, and a social media specialist. They can now take on much larger, more complex client projects than they ever could alone. It's the ultimate form of leverage in the service economy.
So, to summarize, the path of the online service provider is a rich and varied one. It begins with the direct monetization of a skill through freelancing. From there, it can evolve into a higher-value advisory role through consulting, find a niche as an essential supporter in the creator ecosystem, and ultimately scale into a team-based agency model. Each step represents a different way of packaging and delivering value.
And the thread that connects them all is the direct exchange of expertise for compensation. Unlike the creator economy where monetization can be indirect through ads or affiliates, this is the most straightforward part of the digital economy. It's about what you can do, what you know, and how effectively you can deliver that value to a client, whether they're next door or on the other side of the world.
This focus on direct transactions, on selling skills and services, provides a perfect contrast to our next topic. We've talked about building audiences and providing services, but what about selling products in the digital world? We're going to shift our focus from services to goods, exploring the vibrant and complex world of e-commerce.
That's right. In our next episode, we'll explore what it takes to become a digital merchant. We'll cover everything from setting up your own online store on platforms like Shopify to leveraging the massive reach of marketplaces like Amazon FBA and Etsy. We'll also dive into fascinating models like dropshipping and print on demand, which allow you to sell physical products without ever holding inventory, and even explore the rental and sharing economies. The journey from service provider to product seller is a fascinating one, and we'll break it all down next time.
Welcome back to the Digital Economy series. In our last discussion, we explored the world of online services, freelancing, consulting, and building agencies. We focused on models where individuals trade their time and expertise directly for income. But that's only one side of the digital coin. Today, we're shifting from services to products, asking a fundamental question. In an age where anyone can be a creator, what does it truly mean to be a seller?
That's the perfect pivot. If last season was about being the skilled artisan, this episode is about becoming the shopkeeper. We're moving from the workshop to the storefront. But the modern storefront isn't necessarily a physical space with a cheerful bell on the door. It could be a listing on a global marketplace, an automated system that ships a product you've never touched, or even an app that rents out an asset you already own. We'll be dissecting the core models of e-commerce and marketplaces, starting with the foundational choice, building your own store versus joining a massive online bazaar.
From there, we'll get into some of the most revolutionary concepts in modern retail, dropshipping and print on demand, business models that essentially eliminate the need for physical inventory. Then we'll look at how the digital economy allows us to monetize assets we already possess through the rental or sharing economy. And finally, we'll touch on the oldest game in commerce, buy low, sell high, reimagined for the internet age as retail arbitrage, and explore the burgeoning world of digital-only goods.
Exactly. These aren't just isolated strategies. They represent a fundamental democratization of commerce. The barrier to entry for selling goods has never been lower, but the complexity of choosing the right model has never been higher. Understanding the mechanics, the risks, and the opportunities of each is crucial for anyone looking to participate in the product side of the digital economy. So let's start with that first big decision a potential seller faces. Do I build my own branded online store, or do I list my products on a massive pre-existing marketplace like Amazon or Etsy?
This feels like the digital equivalent of deciding whether to open a boutique shop on a quiet, trendy street versus setting up a stall in a giant, chaotic, but incredibly busy Grand Bazaar. The level of control is completely different, but so is the built-in foot traffic.
That's the perfect analogy. Let's break it down. Building your own store using a platform like Shopify is like being the architect, designer, and owner of that standalone boutique. You control every single detail: the branding, the customer experience, the layout, the pricing. You're building a direct relationship with your customers and capturing all of their data. The challenge, of course, is that you also have to build the road that leads to your store. You are responsible for all the marketing, SEO, and advertising to get people to even know you exist.
And the alternative, selling on a marketplace like Amazon FBA or Etsy, is setting up that stall in the Grand Bazaar. The immediate advantage is the immense built-in audience. Millions of people are already there, actively looking to buy things. Platforms like Amazon can even handle the logistics for you through services like Fulfillment by Amazon or FBA, where they store your inventory, pack your orders, and handle customer service.
But that convenience comes with trade-offs. In the bazaar, you're just one stall among thousands. Your branding ability is limited, you're subject to the marketplace's rules and often high fees, and you're competing directly with countless other sellers, including sometimes the marketplace itself. On Amazon, the focus is on the product, not the brand. On Etsy, you have a more niche audience looking for handmade or vintage items, but popular categories can become incredibly saturated. You're essentially renting space in traffic, not building a long-term independent asset.
So the choice hinges on a trade-off between control and convenience. Building your own store offers maximum control and brand equity, but requires you to generate your own traffic. Marketplaces offer immediate traffic and simplified logistics, but at the cost of control, branding, and higher fees. This leads to the next logical question. What if you want to sell products without the massive upfront cost and risk of buying and holding inventory at all?
And that brings us to two of the most disruptive models in e-commerce: dropshipping and print-on-demand. At their core, both are methods of retail fulfillment where the seller doesn't keep the products in stock. They are inventoryless commerce.
Let's start with dropshipping. The concept is fascinating because it separates the act of selling from the act of fulfillment. How does the process actually work?
It's a three-step dance. First, a customer purchases a product from your online store. Second, you, the seller, forward that order to a third-party supplier. This could be a manufacturer or a wholesaler. Third, that supplier ships the product directly to the customer. You never physically handle the product. Your profit is the margin between what the customer paid you and what you paid the supplier.
The primary advantage there is obvious: an incredibly low barrier to entry. You don't need significant capital to purchase inventory in bulk, and you eliminate the risk of being stuck with unsold stock. This allows for immense flexibility. You can test new products with minimal risk and offer a wide variety of goods.
Precisely. But that convenience also introduces significant challenges. Your biggest liability is that you are reliant on your suppliers. You have limited control over product quality, shipping times, and even whether an item is actually in stock. If your supplier makes a mistake, your brand and your customer service reputation take the hit. It's a model built on trust and logistics management, not on product creation.
Print-on-demand seems like a specialized version of this. It takes the inventory-less model and applies it to customized products.
Exactly. With print-on-demand, you create custom designs for products like t-shirts, mugs, or posters. You list these virtual products in your store. When a customer places an order, the order is automatically sent to a print-on-demand partner. That partner then prints your design onto the product, packages it, and ships it directly to the customer, all under your brand. Like dropshipping, it's a fulfillment method that requires no upfront inventory investment.
This model seems incredibly powerful for creators, artists, and influencers who want to monetize their audience by selling merchandise without the logistical nightmare of a traditional retail operation. You can test hundreds of designs and product ideas with zero risk.
It is. It transforms creative assets into sellable products on the fly. You can think of it this way. Traditional retail is like a library, where you have to buy all the books before anyone can check one out. Dropshipping and print on demand are like an interlibrary loan system. You showcase a massive catalog of potential books, and only when someone requests one do you arrange for it to be sent directly from the central repository. Your job isn't to own the warehouse, it's to be the best curator and marketer of the books.
That curation role is key, but these models are about selling newly manufactured goods. What about monetizing goods that already exist? This is where the sharing economy comes in, which feels less like creating a new product and more like unlocking the latent value in existing assets.
That's the perfect way to phrase it. The sharing economy is an economic model built on peer-to-peer sharing of underutilized assets or services. It's facilitated by online platforms that act as trusted intermediaries. Think about Airbnb. Before it existed, a spare bedroom was just a spare bedroom. Airbnb provided a platform to turn that idle asset into a source of income, effectively allowing individuals to compete with the hotel industry.
The same principle applies to platforms that let you rent out your car, your camera equipment, or even your parking space. The core economic concept is maximizing the utility of an asset that would otherwise sit idle. The platform's role is critical. It handles the booking, the payment, and most importantly, the trust and reputation systems that make people comfortable exchanging high-value assets with strangers.
Right. It's entrepreneurship through access rather than creation. You're not manufacturing a new car, you're selling access to the 23 hours a day your car isn't being used. This model fundamentally challenges traditional notions of ownership. For the consumer, it offers flexibility and often lower costs. For the provider, it unlocks income streams from sunk costs, the assets they already own.
Shifting gears slightly, there's another model that leverages existing products but in a more traditional commercial sense: retail arbitrage. This feels like the digital evolution of a merchant's oldest skill.
It is exactly that. Retail arbitrage is the simple act of buying products in one market at a low price and reselling them in another market at a higher price. The classic example is finding deeply discounted items on the clearance aisle of a local store, like Walmart or Target, and then listing them for sale on a national or global marketplace, like Amazon or eBay.
The key here seems to be information and market asymmetry. A product might be on clearance in one geographic location, but in high demand elsewhere. Online marketplaces aggregate that demand, allowing an arbitrager to connect the low-price supply with the high-price demand. How do sellers typically operate in this space?
It's very hands-on. Sellers will often use smartphone apps like the Amazon Seller app to scan barcodes of products in stores. The app can instantly show them the current selling price on Amazon, the associated fees, the sales rank of the item, and the potential profit. It turns a shopping trip into a data-driven treasure hunt. You're looking for pricing inefficiencies between the physical retail world and the digital marketplace. It requires effort in sourcing, but has a very low barrier to entry since you can start with a small amount of capital.
And finally, we have a category where the product itself is intangible: the digital storefront for goods. This isn't about shipping a physical item at all.
Correct. This is where commerce becomes purely information transfer. We're talking about selling products like software licenses, video game keys, ebooks, or digital art. These goods have zero marginal cost of reproduction. It costs nothing to create a copy and can be delivered to the customer instantly via download or email. Marketplaces like G2A or Kingwin specialize in game keys, while other platforms facilitate the sale of software or digital assets.
This model removes nearly all the logistical friction of traditional e-commerce. There's no inventory to store, no boxes to pack, no packages to ship. The entire business can be automated. The value is in the intellectual property or the license itself, not a physical object.
And that brings us to a powerful summary of today's discussion. Whether you're building a unique brand on your own storefront, leveraging the massive traffic of a marketplace, selling products you never touch through dropshipping, monetizing assets you already own in the sharing economy, hunting for deals with retail arbitrage, or selling purely digital goods, the central theme is the radical reduction of friction in commerce.
The internet hasn't just given us new places to sell, it has fundamentally redefined how we can sell. The link between capital, inventory, and sales has been weakened, and in some cases, completely broken. The key takeaway is that success is no longer just about having a great product. It's about understanding and mastering the specific economic model and logistical system you choose to operate within.
That's absolutely right. And as we've seen today, many of these models still revolve around a product, be it physical or digital. But what happens when we move beyond selling individual units and start selling scalable intellectual property itself? We've touched on digital goods, but there's a whole universe there we haven't explored.
A perfect lead-in. Next time on the Digital Economy series, we will dive deep into the world of pure scalability. We'll explore how to package knowledge and creativity into digital products like online courses and ebooks. We'll examine the recurring revenue powerhouse of software as a service, or SaaS, and discuss the markets for digital assets, templates, and even the evolving landscape of NFTs and licensing your intellectual property. It's the ultimate expression of creating once and selling infinitely. Welcome to the Digital Economy series. In our last conversation, we explored the tangible world of e-commerce, from online storefronts to the intricacies of dropshipping and retail arbitrage, models fundamentally built on the exchange of physical goods. But what happens when the product itself is intangible? What if you could build something once, an idea, a piece of software, a skill, and sell it 1,000 or even 1,000,000 times over with no warehouses and no shipping?
That question is precisely where the digital economy shifts from mimicking the physical world to creating entirely new paradigms of value. Today, we're moving beyond the atoms and into the bits. We'll be dissecting the architecture of digital products, starting with the booming industry of online courses and info products. Then, we'll dive into the powerhouse of recurring revenue, software as a service, or SaaS, including the rise of a more accessible version called micro SaaS. We'll also explore the marketplaces for digital design assets and templates, touch upon the often misunderstood world of NFTs and digital collectibles, and finally, wrap up with the foundational concept of licensing your intellectual property.
These aren't just isolated business models. They represent a fundamental shift in how value is created and distributed. We're moving from a model of one-to-one transactions, where you sell one item to one customer, to a model of one-to-many, where a single act of creation can generate revenue indefinitely. Understanding this is crucial because it unlocks the true scalability of the online world.
Exactly. Let's start with what is perhaps the most direct translation of expertise into a product: online courses and digital info products. This is about taking the knowledge that's in your head and packaging it into a digestible, valuable format for others. Think of it as building a library of your own expertise. You write the book or record the lecture just once, but that single effort can be sold to an endless stream of students or readers without you having to be physically present to teach them each time.
And the market for that library is staggering. We're not talking about a niche corner of the internet. The e-learning market is a global behemoth. To put a number on it, the business-to-business arm of just one major platform, Udemy, generates nearly $500 million in annual revenue. That figure alone tells you the scale of demand from companies looking to upskill their workforce, let alone the millions of individual learners seeking everything from coding boot camps to sourdough baking tutorials.
And that's the key. People are willing to pay a premium for structured, well-taught skills. A collection of free YouTube videos on a topic is one thing, but a comprehensive step-by-step course that promises a specific outcome, like a fitness program that guarantees results or a drawing tutorial that takes you from stick figures to portraits, offers a clear value proposition. The scalability is the magic ingredient here. You invest the time and effort up front to create a high-quality product, and from that point on, every sale is almost pure profit. The cost of delivering a digital file to one more person is virtually zero.
This principle of create once, sell many finds its ultimate expression in our next topic, software as a service, or SaaS. This is the engine of the modern digital economy. Instead of selling a piece of software as a one-time purchase, you're providing ongoing access to it through a subscription. This creates a predictable, recurring revenue stream for the developer and lowers the upfront cost for the user.
Think of it like the difference between buying a car and subscribing to a car service. In the old model, you'd buy a software box off the shelf, install it, and that was it. If a new version came out, you had to buy it again. With SaaS, you're paying for continuous access to the latest version with all the updates, security patches, and support included. It's a service, not just a product. And the scale is almost difficult to comprehend.
The numbers back that up. The global SaaS market is projected to reach approximately $390 billion in 2025. This isn't just about corporate giants like Microsoft or Salesforce. A huge part of this ecosystem is what's known as micro SaaS. These are small-scale, often niche software solutions that can be built and maintained by solo entrepreneurs or very small teams.
Micro SaaS is where the barrier to entry really starts to crumble. You don't need a massive venture capital investment to get started. A great example is the ecosystem around platforms like Shopify. Developers can create highly specific apps or plugins, say a tool that helps with email marketing, one that optimizes product images, and sell them on the Shopify App Store. They get a share of the revenue, and they've instantly tapped into a massive pre-existing market of store owners who need that exact solution. They solved a tiny, specific problem, but for a huge number of people.
It's a perfect illustration of finding a niche within a larger platform. The developer isn't trying to build the next Shopify. They're building a valuable add-on that makes the existing platform better for a subset of its users. This could be a browser extension that simplifies a common task, a simple CRM for a specific industry, or an email automation tool. The revenue model is typically a monthly subscription, which, even at a low price point, can become a significant income stream when scaled across hundreds or thousands of users.
And this idea of creating components for a larger ecosystem extends beautifully into our next area: digital design assets and templates. Not everyone who needs a professional-looking website, presentation, or document has the design skills to create it from scratch. This creates a massive market for pre-made creative assets.
Exactly. We're talking about website themes, PowerPoint templates, stock photos, video effects, custom fonts, 3D models, the building blocks of digital creation. Marketplaces like ThemeForest or Creative Market act as massive digital department stores where creators can sell these assets to a global audience of designers, marketers, and businesses.
The model here is often based on royalties. Imagine you're a talented graphic designer. You could create a stunning PowerPoint template. You upload it to a marketplace. You don't have to find the buyers yourself. The marketplace does that. Every time someone downloads your template, you get a percentage of the sale. You've created the asset once, but you can earn from it for years, as long as it remains relevant. It's like being an author who earns a royalty on every book sold, but your book is a piece of code or a design file.
This brings us to a more recent and certainly more volatile evolution of digital assets, NFTs or non-fungible tokens. While the previous examples are about selling infinite copies of a digital file, NFTs are about creating verifiable, unique ownership of a single digital item.
It's a challenging concept because it feels counterintuitive. How can something that can be endlessly copied be unique? The innovation of the blockchain technology behind NFTs is that it allows for a public, unchangeable ledger that says this specific person owns the original version of this digital file. It's like owning the original Mona Lisa versus owning a postcard of it. Both allow you to see the image, but only one holds the value of original ownership.
And despite the hype and volatility, the market has seen significant volume. In 2023, the NFT market size was estimated at nearly $27 billion, with projections showing it could grow eightfold by 2030. Artists and musicians have used this technology to bypass traditional gatekeepers. A digital artist can mint their artwork as an NFT and sell it directly to their fans and collectors, creating a direct economic link that didn't exist before.
It's important to approach this space with caution, as it is highly speculative. However, the underlying concept represents a fascinating new model for digital ownership. It's an attempt to solve the problem of provenance and scarcity in a world of infinite duplication. While its long-term role is still being defined, it demonstrates a powerful new way for creators to monetize their digital creations directly with their audience.
All of these models, courses, SaaS, design assets, even NFTs, ultimately rest on a foundational legal and economic principle, the licensing of intellectual property. When you buy a piece of software or a website theme, you're not usually buying the thing itself. You're buying a license to use it under certain conditions.
This is such a critical distinction. Think of it this way. Licensing your IP is like renting out your ideas. You still own the property, the photo, the song, the piece of software, but you grant others the right to use it in specific ways. A photographer can license a photo to a magazine for a one-time use in an article. A musician can license a track to be used in a commercial through a music library. A graphic designer can sell a license for a business to use a font they created in their branding.
The creator retains ownership and can license the same piece of intellectual property to multiple clients simultaneously, creating diverse and scalable revenue streams from a single creative work. This is the bedrock of the digital creative economy. Whether you're a writer, a developer, a musician, or a designer, understanding how to protect and license your intellectual property is fundamental to building a sustainable career online.
So if we tie all of this together, the common thread is the incredible power of decoupling time from income. In a traditional service model, you trade an hour of your time for an hour's pay. In the digital product world, you invest a significant amount of time upfront to create a valuable asset. But once that asset is created, it has the potential to generate income for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without your direct, continuous involvement.
That is the key takeaway. Moving from physical goods to digital products fundamentally changes the economic equation. It shifts the focus from manufacturing and logistics to creativity, knowledge, and intellectual property. Whether it's a course that teaches a skill, a piece of software that solves a problem, or a design that beautifies a project, the core principle is the same. Create once, sell infinitely. It's the ultimate form of leverage in the digital economy.
And understanding how to market and drive traffic to these digital products is the next critical piece of the puzzle. It's not enough to simply create something, you have to connect it with the right audience. That leads us directly into our topic for the next episode, affiliate and performance marketing, where we'll explore how to build powerful partnerships and incentive structures to sell products, both yours and others, at scale.
Welcome back to the Digital Economy series. In our last episode, we explored the world of digital products, from SaaS to NFTs, focusing on how creators can build and own their intellectual property. We talked about creating value once and selling it infinitely. But what if you don't have your own product to sell? What if, instead of monetizing your own IP, you could monetize your influence, your audience, and your ability to drive traffic?
That's the bridge to today's topic. We're shifting from product creation to performance-based monetization. It's a different side of the same coin. Instead of selling your own creation, you're helping to sell someone else's and getting a piece of the action for it. Today, we are diving deep into the powerful and often misunderstood world of affiliate and performance marketing. We'll explore what it means to earn commissions by promoting others' products, how referral programs fit in, the role of display advertising, and the evolution of influencer sponsorships into what we now call performance partnerships.
Exactly. This isn't just about putting a few links on a blog. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that underpins a significant portion of e-commerce. Understanding these models is critical for anyone operating online, whether you're a content creator, a freelancer, or an entrepreneur. It's about understanding how to leverage trust and traffic to generate revenue, often in a way that provides immense value to your audience by connecting them with products and services they'll find useful.
Let's start with the foundational concept, affiliate marketing. At its core, affiliate marketing is a performance-based strategy where you, as a creator or publisher, promote a company's product or service and earn a commission for each sale, lead, or action generated through your unique referral. It's a massive ecosystem. The global affiliate marketing industry is estimated to be worth around $17 billion in 2025.
How does that work in practice? What's the mechanism that makes sure the right person gets paid?
The magic is in the tracking link. When you join an affiliate program, the company gives you a unique URL. This link contains a special tracking ID tied to your account. You then share this link on your blog, in a video description, on social media, or in an email newsletter. When someone clicks that link, a small file called a cookie is stored on their browser. This cookie tells the merchant's website that you were the one who sent them. If they make a purchase within a certain time frame, known as the cookie window, you get credited with the sale and earn a commission.
And this isn't a niche strategy. The numbers are quite staggering. Something like 81% of marketers and 84% of publishers use affiliate marketing. It drives a significant chunk of online sales. Around 16% of all e-commerce orders in the United States come through affiliate marketing.
It's a win-win model, which is why it's so pervasive. For the business, they're only paying for marketing that results in a direct sale or lead. It's incredibly efficient. In fact, businesses report an average return on investment of $12 to $15 for every dollar spent on affiliate marketing. For the creator or affiliate, it's a way to monetize their content and audience without having to create a product from scratch. Successful affiliates, especially niche bloggers who build a foundation of trust with their audience, can earn substantial passive income.
That trust component is crucial. This isn't just about spamming links. The most successful affiliates are those who genuinely recommend products they believe in. Their audience trusts their judgment, so the recommendation carries weight. It's an extension of their brand.
Think of it like a trusted curator at a museum. The curator doesn't create the art, but they use their expertise to select, contextualize, and recommend the best pieces to the visitors. The visitors trust the curator's taste and are more likely to appreciate and, in our case, purchase the art that is recommended. A good affiliate marketer is a digital curator for their audience, sifting through the noise to find valuable products and services. That authenticity is what drives conversions.
Now, a term we often hear used interchangeably with affiliate marketing is referral programs. They seem similar, but are they the same thing?
That's a great question, and there's a key distinction. While both involve rewarding someone for bringing in new business, referral programs typically target existing customers, encouraging them to refer people within their personal network, like friends and family. The rewards are often discounts, store credit, or a free month of service, keeping the value within the company's ecosystem.
So it's more of a customer loyalty and word-of-mouth marketing tool, a company rewarding its happy customers for spreading the word.
Precisely. Affiliate marketing, on the other hand, is generally open to anyone, particularly third-party content creators, influencers, or professional marketers who may or may not be customers themselves. Their relationship is with their audience, not necessarily a personal one with the people they refer. The compensation is almost always a cash commission, making it a true business partnership.
So, a referral program is about turning happy customers into advocates, while an affiliate program is about partnering with marketers to reach new audiences. Moving beyond direct promotions, let's talk about a more passive form of performance-based income, display ads. This is what people see on websites, in sidebars, or embedded in articles. How did these networks operate?
Display ad networks, like the Google Display Network, act as a massive marketplace connecting advertisers with publishers, the websites, apps, and even YouTube channels that have ad space to sell. As a website owner, you can sign up for a service like Google AdSense, place a small piece of code on your site, and the network will automatically fill that space with ads. These ads are often targeted to the user based on their browsing history or the content of the page they're on.
And the revenue model here is also performance-based, but in a different way than affiliate links.
Exactly. With display ads, you typically earn money in one of two ways: per click, CPC, or cost per click, or per thousand impressions, CPM, or cost per mil. Every time a visitor clicks an ad, or in some cases, just sees an ad, you earn a small amount of money. It's less targeted than a specific product recommendation via an affiliate link, but it provides a steady stream of revenue as long as you have consistent traffic. The key is volume. You need a lot of eyeballs to make significant income from display ads alone.
This brings us to another major force in the digital economy: influencer sponsorships. Traditionally, this was a flat fee model. A brand pays an influencer a set amount to create a post featuring their product. But that seems to be changing.
It is, and the change is pushing sponsorships squarely into the realm of performance marketing. Brands are no longer satisfied with just paying for exposure or vanity metrics like likes and views. They want to see a tangible return on their investment. The influencer marketing industry has become a $24 billion industry in 2024, and with that scale comes a demand for accountability.
So, how are these deals being structured now?
Many influencer campaigns are now hybrid or fully performance-based. Instead of just a flat fee, an influencer might also be given a unique affiliate link or a discount code to share with their audience. Their compensation is then tied directly to the number of clicks, leads, or sales they generate. This model aligns incentives perfectly. The brand gets measurable results, and the influencer is rewarded for their actual influence on their audience's purchasing decisions. It shifts the focus from simply participating in a campaign to driving real outcomes.
This sounds like a more sophisticated and data-driven approach. It treats influencer marketing not as a leap of faith, but as a measurable and optimizable marketing channel.
Absolutely. It bridges the gap between traditional brand awareness and direct response marketing. This evolution has given rise to the concept of performance partnerships. This isn't just a semantic change, it represents a deeper, more strategic relationship. It's the idea that all of these performance-based activities, affiliate marketing, high-level influencer campaigns, strategic content collaborations, should be managed under one cohesive framework.
What defines a performance partnership? What makes it different from a standard affiliate relationship?
A performance partnership is built on transparency, mutual goals, and a shared understanding of success metrics. The brand sees the creator not just as a publisher or an affiliate, but as a true partner in driving business growth. For the individual or business on the other side, understanding how to drive targeted traffic through channels like SEO or paid social ads becomes an incredibly valuable skill. That ability to generate conversions is what allows them to command higher commissions and build these stronger long-term partnerships. The ROI can be immense. As we mentioned, some programs see a return of $12 or even $15 for every one spent.
So, to bring it all together, we've moved from the straightforward commission of affiliate marketing to a broad ecosystem of performance-based monetization. It includes everything from simple customer referrals and passive display ads to highly integrated influencer campaigns, all culminating in these strategic performance partnerships.
That's the key takeaway. In the modern digital economy, the ability to command and convert attention is a currency in itself. Whether you're a blogger, a YouTuber, or an e-commerce business, leveraging performance marketing is no longer optional. It's a core component of a diversified monetization strategy. It's about understanding that your value isn't just in what you create, but in the trust you've built with your audience and your ability to guide them toward valuable solutions. The entire system is predicated on shared success. The partners only win when the brand wins.
It's a powerful model that directly rewards tangible results. As we wrap up, this discussion on leveraging influence and platforms for income sets the stage perfectly for our next episode. We'll be shifting our focus again, this time to the rapidly growing gig economy.
Indeed. We'll explore how platforms like Uber, TaskRabbit, and Fiverr are enabling a new form of micro-entrepreneurship, moving from monetizing an audience to monetizing your time, skills, and even your personal assets directly. It's the other side of the digital hustle, and we'll break it all down next time on the Digital Economy series.
Welcome back to the Digital Economy series. In our last discussion, we explored the world of performance marketing, examining how individuals and businesses can earn revenue by promoting products and driving sales. We looked at a system built on commissions and measurable results. Today, we shift our focus from promoting assets to becoming the asset, from driving traffic to being the destination. We're diving deep into the gig economy and the rise of platform-based micro-entrepreneurship.
It's a fascinating and crucial transition to make. If performance marketing is about influencing transactions from the outside, the gig economy is about becoming a core component of the transaction itself. We're going to unpack this massive landscape, moving from the tangible, on-demand services that we see on our streets every day, like ride-sharing and food delivery, to the invisible world of online microtasks. We'll also explore how freelancers stock small digital jobs to build a career and the explosion of niche platforms for hyper-specific skills. Finally, we'll touch on the innovative ways people are turning their underused physical possessions into income streams.
Exactly. This isn't just a collection of side hustles. It's a structural change in the nature of work. A recent World Bank report highlights the scale of this shift, revealing that the gig economy now accounts for as much as 12% of the global labor market. That figure is far higher than many previous estimates and shows just how deeply this model is embedding itself into the global workforce. So the central question we're exploring is, how have digital platforms managed to deconstruct traditional jobs into a global marketplace of tasks, services, and rentable assets?
And what does that mean for the individual as an economic actor? At its core, the gig economy is built on digital platforms that act as intermediaries, connecting people who need a service with those who can provide it. This creates what's often called platform micro-entrepreneurship, where individuals can operate as a business of one, leveraging these platforms to find customers without the traditional overhead of marketing or sales. It's a model based on accessibility and flexibility, but as we'll discuss, it also comes with significant trade-offs regarding stability and worker protections.
Let's start with the most visible layer of this economy, local on-demand service gigs. This is where the digital meets the physical. Platforms like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and TaskRabbit have become household names. They allow individuals to use their personal assets, their car, their bicycle, their time, their skills, and convert them directly into income on an hour-by-hour basis.
Think of it as a hyper-efficient digital town square. In the past, if you needed a fence painted or a package delivered across town, you'd have to rely on word of mouth, local classifieds, or a formal business. It was slow and inefficient. Now, a platform aggregates all that demand and all that supply in real time. The app on your phone is the town crier, shouting out available jobs, and anyone with the app can raise their hand and say, "I'll do it." This extends beyond just labor. Asset-sharing platforms like Turo for cars or Airbnb for homes operate on the same principle. They allow you to activate what is essentially dormant capital, your empty spare room or your car sitting in the driveway, and turn it into a productive, income-generating asset. It's the ultimate in tech-enabled local micro-entrepreneurship.
That activation of dormant capital is a powerful concept. But let's shift from the physical world to the purely digital. This brings us to online microtasks, a much less visible but massive part of the gig landscape. Platforms like Amazon Mechanical Turk or Clickworker break down large-scale digital projects into millions of tiny, discrete tasks. We're talking about things like labeling images for an AI algorithm, transcribing a few seconds of audio, or verifying a business's address.
This is the digital assembly line. Just as Henry Ford broke down the complex process of building a car into small, repeatable actions for workers on a line, these platforms deconstruct complex digital work. A project like Improve Our Search Engine's image recognition becomes a million microtasks of, is this a picture of a cat? Each task might pay only a few cents, and while that seems negligible, the model is built on volume. It allows companies to harness a global workforce to complete tasks that are simple for humans, but still incredibly difficult for computers.
And this is where some of the complexities and criticisms of the gig economy become very clear. The pay-per-task model can drive wages down significantly, and work lacks a career path or benefits. It's a stark contrast to the slightly more skilled, project-based work we see on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. Here, instead of a digital assembly line, it feels more like a digital marketplace for specific skills.
Exactly. If Mechanical Turk is the assembly line, Fiverr is the artisan's market stall. On these platforms, freelancers aren't just performing a rote task, they're offering a package service, a gig, like I will design a logo for your podcast, or I will edit your 30-second social media video. Workers often stack these short, one-off freelance gigs to build a full-time income. It's a form of micro-entrepreneurship focused on a specific marketable skill. You're not just a pair of hands on the digital assembly line, you're a specialist with a specific craft, even if the projects are small and rapid-fire.
This points to the increasing specialization within the gig economy. It's not just a monolithic entity. Beyond the broad marketplaces of Upwork or Fiverr, we're seeing an explosion of niche gig platforms. There are platforms specifically for freelance software developers, voiceover artists, academic tutors, or management consultants. If you have a specific high-demand skill, there is very likely a platform dedicated to connecting you with clients who value that exact expertise.
I like to think of this as the difference between a massive department store and a specialty boutique. A platform like Upwork is the department store. You can find almost anything there, but there's a lot of noise and competition. A niche platform like TopTal for elite developers or Scripted for writers is the boutique. They curate their talent pool, often through rigorous vetting, and in return, they attract clients who are willing to pay a premium for proven expertise. This creates a more focused and often more lucrative environment for the freelancer. It's about matching highly specific supply with highly specific demand, which is the natural evolution of any maturing market.
And that idea of specificity brings us full circle, back to the concept of asset sharing, but on a more granular level. We mentioned Airbnb and Turo, but the principle extends far beyond that. There are now platforms that allow you to rent out almost any underutilized asset. Think about power tools that sit in a garage 99% of the time, high-end camera equipment, or even a backyard garden space.
This is the long tail of the sharing economy. The core idea is that value exists in any asset that is sitting idle. Platforms create the trust and logistical framework to unlock that value. Renting your lawnmower to a neighbor through an app might seem trivial, but it represents a fundamental shift in our concept of ownership and consumption. It moves us from a model where everyone needs to own one of everything to a model of collaborative consumption, where we access assets when we need them. This is peer-to-peer commerce in its purest form, facilitated entirely by technology that handles the discovery, booking, and payment.
So, as we pull these threads together, we see a spectrum of activity. On one end, you have the direct physical services of ride-sharing and delivery. In the middle, you have the digital work, which itself splits into the high-volume, low-skill microtasks and the more specialized project-based freelance gigs. And on the other end, you have the passive capitalization of physical assets. The common denominator is the platform, the technology that unbundles traditional jobs and assets into marketable components.
And in doing so, it creates both incredible opportunity and significant precarity. The flexibility is empowering, allowing individuals to monetize their time, skills, and possessions in ways that were previously unimaginable. However, this unbundling also strips away the social safety nets and career structures that traditional employment provided. The micro-entrepreneur is responsible for their own healthcare, retirement, and skill development. It's the ultimate expression of individual economic agency for better and for worse.
That's the perfect point to look toward the future. We've spent this episode talking about humans performing these gigs, whether it's driving a car, designing a logo, or labeling a photo. But what happens when the gig worker is no longer a person?
Precisely. The next logical step in this evolution is automation. As artificial intelligence becomes more capable, it's beginning to take on these very same tasks, writing marketing copy, generating images, and even automating complex business processes. In our next episode, we will explore this fascinating and disruptive frontier: AI, automation, and a new wave of high-tech hustles that are changing the digital economy once again.
Welcome back to the Digital Economy series. In our last episode, we explored the vast landscape of the gig economy, from on-demand services to the microtasks that define platform entrepreneurship. We looked at how individuals are leveraging their skills and assets in a very direct, hands-on way. But what happens when the hustle itself becomes intelligent? What's the next step when the work isn't just about performing a task, but designing a system that performs thousands of tasks for you?
That's the critical pivot we're examining today. We're moving from the human-powered gig to the machine-powered enterprise. Today, we're diving deep into the world of AI, automation, and high-tech hustles. We'll start with how entrepreneurs are now selling AI-generated content. From there, we'll explore the emerging skill of prompt engineering. Then, we'll look at building actual products and services powered by AI. After that, we'll connect it to the world of no-code automation. And finally, we'll venture into the truly cutting-edge concept of autonomous AI agencies that can generate income with minimal human intervention.
It's a fascinating progression. We're essentially climbing a ladder of abstraction. We've gone from doing the work ourselves to telling a machine what to do to building a machine that knows what to do on its own. This evolution is vital for anyone trying to build a scalable and resilient business in the modern online economy.
Exactly. Let's start at the most accessible rung on that ladder, AI-generated content services. At its core, this is about using generative AI tools, think language models like ChatGPT or image generators like Stable Diffusion, as a production engine. Entrepreneurs aren't just using these tools for drafts anymore. They are creating finished products to sell. This could be anything from blog posts and marketing copy to stock images and video scripts. It's become a viable business model.
And platforms are actively encouraging this. E-commerce platforms, for example, have noted that generative AI can produce content that you can directly monetize. Think about an online store with thousands of products. Manually writing unique, SEO-friendly descriptions for each one is a monumental task. Now, an AI can generate that content in seconds, tailored to specific keywords and customer profiles. Many are building entire business funnels around this, using AI to create content that earns ad revenue or drives affiliate sales.
It's like having an infinitely scalable content intern. But it's not just about quantity, it's also about personalization. AI can tailor marketing messages and product recommendations to individual users at a scale that was previously impossible for small businesses. The key, however, and this is crucial, is that the output still requires a human touch for quality control, originality, and strategic direction. Platform policies, especially for monetization, often have rules against low-quality, repetitive, or unoriginal automated content.
That human element, that strategic direction, leads us perfectly to our next topic, prompt engineering. For a while, prompt engineer was a hot job title. While the hype may have shifted, the underlying skill has become even more critical. It's the art and science of crafting the perfect input to get the desired output from an AI. It's the difference between asking an AI to write a blog post and giving it a detailed prompt that specifies the target audience, tone of voice, SEO keywords, article structure, and key arguments.
Precisely. A well-crafted prompt sets the context, defines a persona for the AI to adopt, and outlines clear constraints. This skill is becoming less of a standalone job and more of a core competency for anyone working with these tools. And it's a monetizable skill in itself. We're seeing entrepreneurs sell prompt packs, bundles of expertly crafted prompts for specific tasks, like writing sales emails or generating social media campaigns. Others offer services to fine-tune AI models for specific business needs, which requires a deep understanding of how to prompt and guide the AI during the training process.
It's essentially becoming the new literacy. In the past, technical excellence might have been defined by your ability to write code. Now, increasingly, it's about your ability to write effective natural language instructions for a machine. This moves us up the ladder again. We've gone from using the AI's output to mastering the input. The next logical step is to build the machine itself.
And that brings us to AI-powered products, particularly software as a service, or SaaS. The game changer here has been the rise of accessible AI APIs from companies like OpenAI or platforms like Hugging Face. You no longer need to be a massive corporation with a huge research budget to build AI features. You can essentially rent the brain of a powerful AI model and build your application on top of it.
This is a fundamental democratization of technology. A developer can now build a SaaS product over a weekend that leverages incredibly sophisticated AI. Think of an AI-powered help desk that answers customer questions by reading your support documentation, or an analytics tool that uses natural language to explain complex data trends. These aren't futuristic ideas. They are being built right now by small teams and even solo entrepreneurs.
I like to think of it as building with intelligent Lego bricks. The AI provider has done the incredibly complex work of creating the brick, the language model, the image generator. As an entrepreneur, your job is to creatively assemble these bricks to solve a new problem. You could combine a language API with a translation API to create a hyper-intelligent localization service, for example. The value isn't in creating the base AI, but in the novel application of it.
This theme of building systems by connecting powerful tools is a perfect bridge to our next topic, automation and no-code services. If AI APIs are the building blocks, no-code platforms like Zapier, Make, or Kissflow are the automated assembly lines that connect them. These platforms allow you to create complex workflows that link different apps and services together without writing a single line of code.
This is where the true power of systems thinking comes into play for the modern entrepreneur. You can design, build, and even sell fully automated business processes. For example, imagine a workflow for a small business. A potential customer fills out a contact form on their website. A no-code automation could instantly take that data, create a new customer profile in a CRM, send a personalized welcome email, add the contact to a specific marketing funnel, and even generate a task for a salesperson to follow up. That entire automated sequence is a product you can build and sell.
It's about creating efficiency machines. By connecting various SaaS tools and AI services through a no-code platform, you're essentially building a digital Rube Goldberg machine that performs valuable business tasks. You're not just selling a service, you're selling a scalable, automated solution that frees up human capital to focus on higher-level strategy.
And this brings us to the most forward-looking, almost science fiction topic on our list, the rise of autonomous AI agencies. This is the bleeding edge where we combine all the concepts we've discussed. An autonomous agent is an AI system designed to operate independently to achieve goals. In e-commerce, this isn't just a chatbot, it's an AI that can manage inventory, run marketing campaigns, and execute transactions without direct human prompting for each step.
The theoretical framework is fascinating. These are AI-driven entities capable of making decisions and initiating actions based on their environment and objectives. An example might be an AI agent designed for arbitrage. It could autonomously scan thousands of online marketplaces for price discrepancies on a specific product, calculate potential profit after shipping and fees, execute the purchase of an underpriced item, and then automatically list it for sale on another platform where the price is higher.
It's the ultimate evolution from the gig economy. Instead of a person driving for Uber, you have an autonomous system driving for profit in digital marketplaces. These agents are designed to be proactive decision makers. While still an emerging field, it represents a paradigm shift. We are moving from a world where we use tools to a world where we deploy autonomous systems that use tools on our behalf to generate value.
This theme of summarizing our journey today, we've seen a clear path of entrepreneurial evolution. It starts with leveraging AI as a content production tool. It matures into mastering the human-AI interface through prompt engineering. From there, it evolves into building unique products by integrating AI APIs. Then it scales by connecting these products into automated workflows with no-code platforms. And its logical conclusion is the deployment of autonomous agents that manage these processes entirely.
The key takeaway is that value creation in the digital economy is shifting from direct task execution to system design and automation. The most successful entrepreneurs won't just be the ones working the hardest, they'll be the ones who build the most intelligent and autonomous systems. They are moving from being workers to being architects of digital work.
And as these automated systems and AI-powered products gather users and generate value, the next critical question becomes, how do you build a sustainable business model and a loyal following around them? You can't just sell a tool, you have to build a relationship.
Exactly, and that sets up our conversation for the next episode perfectly. Once you've built the machine that creates value, you need to build the community that sustains it. We'll be exploring the powerful world of community and membership models, from paid newsletters and subscription communities to tiered fan clubs, as the next layer in building a modern digital enterprise.
Welcome back to the Digital Economy series. In our last episode, we explored the incredible, almost science fiction-like world of AI-driven hustles, autonomous agencies, AI-generated content, and intricate automation funnels. We saw how technology can act as a force multiplier for individual effort. But what happens when you flip the script? What if, instead of focusing purely on technological leverage, we focus on human leverage? Today, we're exploring that very question by diving deep into the architecture of community and membership models.
Exactly. We're shifting from a paradigm of one-to-many broadcasting of a product or service to a many-to-many network of value. It's a move from transactional relationships to transformational ones. We'll be dissecting several key frameworks that enable the shift. We'll start with the resurgence of paid newsletters and then move into the architecture of dedicated membership communities. From there, we'll analyze the psychology behind tiered fan clubs, like those on Patreon, the strategic use of virtual events and workshops, and finally, the powerful recurring revenue engine of subscription boxes and services.
These topics are the logical next step from our AI discussion. While AI can scale content and processes, community scales trust and loyalty, two of the most valuable and hardest to build assets in the digital economy. The models we're discussing today are not just about monetization. They are about building sustainable digital ecosystems. They convert passive audiences into active participants, and that is a fundamental pillar of the modern online economic landscape.
Think of it like this. If the AI and automation tools we discussed previously are the powerful engines of a ship, the community models we're exploring today are the navigational charts and the loyal crew. An engine without direction is just noise and heat, but a skilled crew with a clear map can navigate any ocean. Community provides that direction, that purpose, and that resilience. It transforms a solo voyage into a collective expedition, capable of weathering storms that would capsize a lone vessel. So, let's begin with one of the most direct forms of community building in the creator economy, the paid newsletter.
It's a model that feels both old school and incredibly futuristic. At its core, it's a direct line of communication, cutting through the noise of social media algorithms. Platforms like Substack and ConvertKit have empowered individuals to become their own media houses, building a direct, monetizable relationship with their audience. The scale is staggering. Substack, for instance, reports having more than 5 million paid subscriptions on its platform. This signifies a clear market demand for curated, high-value content delivered directly to an inbox.
It's a powerful validation of expertise. The transaction is simple. You have specialized knowledge or a unique perspective, and an audience is willing to pay for consistent access to it. We see this in the data from other platforms as well. Boohive's platform data from 2024 showed that nearly 1,500 newsletters were generating revenue directly from paid subscriptions. These creators are effectively bundling deep research, exclusive analysis, or compelling stories behind a paywall. It's a model built on the premise that in an age of information overload, clarity and curation are premium products. The creator isn't just a writer, they're a trusted filter.
That trust is the foundational asset that allows for the next logical step, moving from a one-way content delivery system to a multi-directional interactive space. I'm talking about membership communities. Here, the value proposition expands beyond content to access and connection. Entrepreneurs are launching subscription-based communities on platforms like Discord or Slack, where members pay a recurring fee for entry into a private digital space.
And this isn't a niche trend. The desire for community is a powerful driver. Data shows that over a third of online course creators, that's 36%, are planning to start offering memberships. They recognize that the course content is the starting point, but the real sustainable value comes from the network that forms around it. Members in these communities aren't just paying for information. They're paying for access to peers, for networking opportunities, for live Q&A sessions with the expert, and for a sense of belonging with like-minded individuals.
It's the digital equivalent of the Old World Guild or the private club. The community itself becomes a core part of the product. This leads us directly to platforms that have systematized this very model, like Patreon. Here, creators aren't just selling a single subscription, they're offering tiered access. It's a sophisticated way of segmenting an audience based on their level of commitment and desire for deeper engagement.
Absolutely, and it's incredibly effective. You can structure it like a bronze, silver, and gold system. The bronze tier might offer access to a private blog feed. The silver tier could add bonus podcast episodes and early access to content. The gold tier might include a monthly private live stream or even one-on-one interaction. This model directly ties community building to income generation in a very granular way. And the economic impact is significant. Back in 2021, creators on Patreon earned a staggering $1.5 billion through these subscription models. It's a testament to the power of allowing your most passionate supporters to engage at a deeper level.
And that engagement, that trust built through newsletters and private communities, can then be leveraged for higher-ticket, time-bound offerings. This brings us to virtual events and workshops. These are not passive webinars. They are active, paid, live online experiences.
Think of a marketing expert who has built a loyal newsletter following. They can then host a paid half-day workshop diving deep into a specific strategy, charging a premium for that direct, focused access.
This is where audience trust is directly monetized. These events work because the creator has already established credibility and authority through their consistent, free, or lower-tier content. The virtual workshop is the masterclass. It's an opportunity for the audience to move from theory to practice with direct guidance. The value isn't just the information presented, it's the interactivity, the ability to ask questions, and to learn in a structured, real-time environment. The global market for virtual events is immense, reflecting this shift towards focused, digital learning experiences.
This principle of recurring value can also be applied to physical and digital products through our final model, subscription boxes and services. This is a booming sector across countless industries. The core mechanic is the same, a recurring fee for curated value delivered on a consistent schedule. This could be a physical box of curated coffee beans, grooming products, or a digital subscription to a stock photo library or a proprietary research feed. The subscription box market is projected to grow significantly, driven by consumer demand for convenience and personalized experiences.
Shopify has noted the explosion of this model, and for good reason. It taps into several powerful psychological drivers: convenience, discovery, and personalization. A subscription service transforms a one-time purchase into a long-term relationship. For the business, it creates predictable, recurring revenue. For the consumer, it provides a delightful, curated experience that feels like a personalized gift arriving at their doorstep or inbox each month. It's the ultimate loyalty loop, powered by consistency and curation.
So, when we step back and look at these 5 models together, paid newsletters, membership communities, tiered fan clubs, virtual workshops, and subscription services, a clear and powerful picture emerges. They are all interconnected threads in the same tapestry. The newsletter builds the initial trust. That trust funnels followers into a paid community. The most engaged members of that community are the first to buy tickets to a virtual workshop. And throughout this entire journey, a digital or physical subscription can provide a steady stream of recurring value and revenue.
The key takeaway is that the digital economy is fundamentally shifting from a focus on audience size to a focus on audience depth. It's no longer just about how many people you can reach, but about how deeply you can engage a dedicated community. Each of the models we've discussed is a tool for building that depth. They create scalable, resilient, and highly defensible business models because they are built on the most durable asset of all: human connection and trust. An algorithm can change, a platform can decline, but a loyal community is an asset that endures.
That is the perfect foundation for where we're headed next. Having established these powerful models for community and commerce, our next episode will look to the horizon. We will explore the advanced frontier strategies that are just beginning to take shape. We'll delve into the world of Web3 and decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, which propose entirely new structures for work and value exchange. We will also examine the critical ethical considerations that underpin a healthy digital economy and discuss the strategic mindset required to navigate this constantly evolving landscape.
It's about moving from established best practices to pioneering the next practices. We'll be discussing not just the jobs of today, but the jobs that don't even exist yet, and how to build a diversified, resilient, and ethical presence in the digital economy of the future. It's going to be a fascinating look at the bleeding edge.
Welcome to the final episode of the Digital Economy series. Over the past 9 episodes, we've journeyed from the foundational shifts of remote work and the gig economy through the practical mechanics of e-commerce and SaaS, and most recently into the powerful strategies of building communities and membership models. We've built a map of the current online economic landscape, but a map of today is not a guide for tomorrow. What happens when the terrain itself begins to shift under our feet?
That's the core question we're exploring today. We're moving beyond the established models to look at the horizon. We'll be dissecting the genuinely disruptive potential of Web3 and decentralized systems, peering into the new niches being carved out by AI and other frontier technologies, and confronting the critical ethical questions that underpin this entire ecosystem. Finally, we'll synthesize everything into a strategic mindset for not just participating, but thriving in the digital economy of the future. This isn't about predicting the future, it's about preparing for it.
Exactly. And this builds directly on our last conversation about community. Those models thrive on centralized platforms, Patreon, Substack, Discord. But what if the community itself could become the platform? This leads us to the concept of Web3, a term that's often surrounded by hype, but whose underlying principles suggest a fundamental rewiring of how value, ownership, and work are distributed online. We're talking about technologies like blockchain, NFTs, and, perhaps most importantly for our discussion, DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations.
It's a paradigm shift. Think of the platforms we've discussed so far, YouTube, Etsy, Uber, as digital kingdoms. There's a central ruler, the corporation, that sets the rules, controls the flow of money, and owns the infrastructure. They are benevolent or not so benevolent dictators. Web3 proposes a different model, a digital city-state. It's governed by its citizens, the users, creators, and contributors through transparent rules encoded on a blockchain. A DAO is the governance structure for this city-state. Instead of a CEO making decisions, the community votes on proposals, and the outcomes are executed automatically.
The implications for work and organization are profound. The World Economic Forum has suggested that these very technologies will transform operating models and the labor market. In a traditional company, your role is fixed, defined by a job description. You are hired into a structure. The vision for a DAO is almost the reverse. In a DAO, work flows to talent, rather than talent being slotted into predefined jobs. The structure is fluid and project-based.
Let's make that concrete. Imagine a group wants to produce a high-quality animated short film. In the old model, you'd form a company, raise capital, hire a director, animators, marketers, and so on. In a DAO model, the project is proposed to the community. A budget, held in a crypto treasury, is approved by token holders. Then, bounties are posted for specific tasks. 5 tokens for character design, 10 tokens for a 30-second animation sequence, 3 tokens for social media promotion. Freelancers and creators from anywhere in the world can pick up these tasks, contribute their work, and get paid instantly in tokens upon completion. Those tokens could also represent a share of the film's future profits or voting power in the project's future decisions. Leadership becomes a collective, dynamic process.
So the rigid distinction between employee, freelancer, and owner begins to blur. You become all three at once, to varying degrees, depending on your contribution. This isn't just a new way to get paid, it's a new way to organize collaborative human effort. Of course, it's still an emerging field with significant hurdles in user experience, regulation, and governance, but the foundational concept is a direct challenge to the centralized platform economy we've spent most of this series analyzing.
And it's not the only challenge. While Web3 is decentralizing control, another force, artificial intelligence, is decentralizing capability. AI, along with other frontier tech like augmented and virtual reality and the Internet of Things, is creating entirely new economic niches. This isn't just about automating existing jobs, it's about creating roles that were previously unimaginable. We have to constantly be on the lookout for jobs that don't exist yet.
This is a critical point. The initial discourse around AI was focused on replacement. Which jobs will be lost? The more strategic question is, what new tasks, services, and products become possible? For instance, we're already seeing the rise of the prompt engineer, an individual skilled in crafting the precise language needed to coax the desired output from a generative AI. This is a skill that had no economic value 5 years ago.
Or consider AR. As augmented reality glasses become more common, there will be a huge demand for digital information overlays in the real world. Think of an AR content creator who designs interactive maintenance guides for complex machinery that a technician can see projected directly onto the engine they're working on. or a virtual real estate stager who uses VR to furnish and decorate a digital twin of a house for sale. These aren't just incremental improvements, they are entirely new value propositions. The same applies to robotics in niche manufacturing or IoT specialists who can create smart, automated systems for homes or farms.
This rapid emergence of new roles brings us to a more sobering and necessary part of our discussion, the ethical and practical realities of this landscape. The digital economy offers unprecedented opportunity, but it's also rife with pitfalls. We're seeing significant issues around fair pay, especially in the gig economy, the immense power wielded by platforms to change their algorithms and upend entire businesses overnight, and of course, the proliferation of scams.
The allure of passive income and the 4-hour workweek can create a dangerous mindset. It can lead people to look for shortcuts that often don't exist. This is where the house analogy comes in. A sustainable digital business is like a well-built house. It requires a solid foundation, a genuinely valuable product or service. It needs strong structural support, ethical marketing, transparent pricing, and excellent customer service. And it needs regular maintenance, adapting to new technologies and customer feedback. Scams and get-rich-quick schemes are like building a house of cards. They might look impressive for a moment, but they are built on a flimsy premise and inevitably collapse at the slightest breeze.
And that's a point that legitimate platform providers are keen to emphasize as well. Shopify, for instance, explicitly warns its community about scams and makes it clear that building a real business requires real effort and the creation of genuine value. It's a reminder that the principles of good business don't disappear just because the storefront is digital. Trust, reputation, and delivering on your promises are more important than ever when you might never meet your customer face-to-face. Building a sustainable model is the only real path.
This is the perfect entry point into our final core topic, the strategic mindset required to navigate this complex environment. If the only constant is change and platforms can be fickle, then the single most dangerous strategy is reliance on a single channel. Diversification is not just a financial strategy, it is the prime survival strategy for a digital earner.
Absolutely. Relying solely on one platform, whether it's Amazon for your e-commerce store, Google for your ad revenue, or Instagram for your audience, is leaving your fate in the hands of a single, powerful entity whose interests may not always align with yours. A change in their algorithm, a new fee structure, or a suspension of your account for reasons you don't understand can wipe out your income overnight. The strategic approach is to build a resilient, interconnected system.
Imagine a creator who makes custom woodworking. Their primary sales channel might be an Etsy shop or a Shopify store. That's the core business. But they don't stop there. They also have a YouTube channel where they post tutorials and behind-the-scenes videos of their process. This builds an audience and establishes their authority and craftsmanship. From that YouTube channel, they drive traffic to a blog where they do deeper dives into wood types and techniques, capturing email addresses for a newsletter. That newsletter, in turn, can promote new products in their store, announce a paid online workshop, and build a direct relationship with their most loyal customers, a relationship they own, independent of any platform. Now, if Etsy changes its fee structure, their business is hurt, but not destroyed. They have other avenues to reach their audience and generate income.
What you're describing is the development of a personal brand ecosystem. And underpinning that ecosystem are a set of core transferable skills. This is perhaps the most crucial takeaway. The specific platform you use today might be irrelevant in 5 years. But the ability to build and engage an audience, the principles of digital marketing, the fluency to learn and adapt to new technologies, and a solid understanding of business fundamentals, these skills are timeless. They are the true assets.
They are your toolkit, and you can carry that toolkit with you from one project to the next, one platform to the next, one technological wave to the next. The journey through the digital economy can be whatever you want it to be. It can be a simple side gig selling digital products to pay for a vacation, or it can scale into a global enterprise with a decentralized workforce. The paths are more varied and accessible than ever before.
And that really brings our entire series full circle. We started by examining the macro trends of remote work, then drilled down into the specific tactics of freelancing, e-commerce, and content creation. We explored the power of community and have now looked to the horizon at truly transformative technologies. The one thread that connects it all is the continuous need to learn, adapt, and build ethically. The digital economy is not a static destination. It is a constantly evolving landscape.
And navigating it successfully is the ultimate reward. It offers a level of autonomy, creativity, and global reach that was simply impossible for previous generations. The future is uncertain, but it is brimming with novel opportunities for those willing to engage with it thoughtfully and strategically. The journey requires constant learning, but it's a journey worth taking.
A perfect summation. The only constant is change, and the greatest skill is adaptability. This has been the Digital Economy series. Thank you for joining us on this exploration.